Good morning, St. Paul's. This is GWN News. The U.S. election has been long over, but there are still complications and challenges to face when deciding who is the next president of the United States. The president-elect is usually confirmed after all legal challenges have been dealt with. And speaking on that, over in Georgia's Fulton County, a Dominion server crash has delayed an ongoing recount. A recent report has said that about 88% of the state's largest county votes have been counted, and the recount shall resume on Monday, November 30th. The deadline to complete the recount is December 2nd, which is likely a week or two before the moment you're watching this, so the recount was likely already called. In other news, for the medical field, military veterans often return home and suffered from PTSD, and while there are a good number of treatments to help them, a new likely treatment has been found: video games. While many of you likely already know that video games can help out with stress, a professor at West Virginia University saw a connection to her research on communication, technology, and human identity. According to James Banks, the lead researcher in this effort, claimed that those who used video games to cope tended to have served longer, and they reported high escape, fantasy, and skill development motivations for gameplay, Banks said. Long story short, video games don't kill your brain, they heal it. And for our final headline today, something that you don't really hear often: billions of gallons of water are being saved by thinning forests, in part due to wildfires. According to scientists affiliated with the National Science Foundation, there are too many trees in the Sierra Nevada forest. Most would think that the more green would be better, but in this region of the world, potential changes in water availability are significant. The total effect of wildfires over a 20-year period suggests that forest thinning could increase water flow from Sierra Nevada watersheds by as much as 10%. This has been GWN News. Have a wonderful day, St. Paul's.
Guerrilla wolves, dog.
Hello, St. Paul's. I am once again back with some sports news. The New Orleans Saints have been on a roll lately, stacking wins together to clinch another winning record for the fourth year in a row. Despite quarterback Drew Brees going down against the 49ers in Week 10 with several broken ribs and a collapsed lung, the Saints have held the fort with Taysom Hill at the helm. They currently sit atop the NFC Conference with the Green Bay Packers and Seattle Seahawks trailing closely behind. A running game featuring Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray is complemented by Taysom Hill's ability to move. Wide receivers Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders have returned from injury and have been productive. The Saints' defense has arrived as well, with Trey Hendrickson near the top of the league in sacks, Demario Davis making noise, and Marshawn Lattimore locking up all sorts of wideouts. Drew Brees is scheduled to come back in Week 14 against the struggling Philadelphia Eagles. Now, COVID-19 has been affecting the NFL, with some games continuing to be postponed or rescheduled. There has not been any forfeits or cancellations so far, but it got to the point where the Saints went up against a practice squad wide receiver at quarterback when they played the Denver Broncos, when all of Denver's starting quarterbacks were quarantined. A bubble for the playoffs is being considered. That's all the sports news I have for today. See you later, fellas.
What's up, guys? So, I have run out of almost all good ideas I have, so I am going to be turning to the one other pastime I have: anime. So, look out! He can freeze time!
Grinds to a halt.
Now, according to anime logic, I only have exactly 10 seconds in frozen time, but at the same time, it will seem like it will last for several minutes, so yeah. Now, to talk about the show.
Hey, baby.
So, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is an anime about the Joestar bloodline and their never-ending fight against evil, also known as Dio, because for some reason, every season involves Dio. So, on the topic of who Dio is, he is a person who joins the Joestar family in Season 1 and is dead set on taking over the world. Now, in the first season of this series, there's a mask that turns people into vampires. So he takes the mask and becomes a vampire. And he fights him, and then you think he's dead. But then he comes back later, and you know, that's just how it works. He never dies until he does, and then he doesn't. So yeah, but the series follows a different Joestar every season, with season 1 being Jonathan Joestar. Now, instead of listing all their names, I'm just going to describe attributes of them. So we have White Knight, Flamboyant Weirdo, Tomboy, I Have a Dream, Pompadour Man, Female for the main protagonist. Now for the villains, I have Vampire Dio, Aztec Dubstep, Dio again, Quiet Life, Mafia Boss, and a Priest. And then finally, the President of the United States. Would I recommend this anime? Yes. As a first one, it is pretty easy to get into, but it also gets very complicated as the seasons go on. So it's a 8 out of 10 for me. So yeah, see you guys later.
Hello, St. Paul's, and welcome to the Raid and Jaddy Conspiracy Theory Power Hour. Today, I'll be talking about the sun and technology. Everyone knows that the sun is millions of miles away, and if it gets even 2 inches closer to the Earth than it should, all phones, consoles, computers, TVs, and microwaves made after the year 1998 will explode. This is because the technology reaches dangerous temperatures, and with that extra heat from the sun, anything electrical made after the year 1998 will explode. So please, St. Paul's, listen to my warning and start stocking up on gas stoves and flip phones. So stay safe, St. Paul's.
Hello, Paul School. I'm a figment of your imagination. Today I'll be talking about the 2020 Game Awards. The Game Awards in itself is pretty self-explanatory. It's like the Oscars, except it's video games. There are many categories, but because of the time I have, I can only do one, the Game of the Year award. The nominees are Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal, Hades, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and The Last of Us Part 2. I will give a brief opinion on these games and what I think of them. Animal Crossing. Haven't played it, but I've heard good things about it. It's a game you can play that lets your imagination run wild. Doom Eternal. In this game, you... Next up, Hades. I haven't heard about this game until I saw it was a nomination. After checking it out, I have to say, looks pretty good. It's probably not going to win, but still a good game by the looks of it. Final Fantasy VII Remake. One of the most popular Final Fantasy games that took too long to be released, and when it was released, it was okay, not bad, not great either. Next up, Ghost of Tsushima, a Japanese Assassin's Creed game with great story and gameplay. I haven't played it, but the community wants this game to win over the next nominee. And finally, The Last of Us Part 2, a game that fans say messed up the story, but the critics say is the game of the generation. Now for my prediction. I would say The Last of Us Part 2 is going to win mostly because of its high praise by the critics and its weird fans. That's all I have for this episode. Have a great day, St. Paul's.
Hey! Welcome to Guerrilla News.
Have you ever wondered what a St. Paul's student's Christmas is like? Well, we're about to find out. Hello, good sir. I have a very important question for you. What will you do for Christmas?
This year I have a gala to go to, and then I'm going to Texas with my family.
That's pretty good. That's a very good Christmas to have. So, Casey, you know, I've been pondering this question for a very long time. Do you think Santa Claus is real?
Absolutely.
What is your favorite Christmas movie?
None of them.
Have a good day.
Are you still filming? Stop filming!
Do you or do you not have any weird Christmas traditions?
My favorite Christmas tradition My favorite Christmas tradition is opening presents with my family.
Really?
So, you two, how many ornaments do you have on your Christmas tree?
365,435.
Very many, a lot.
That's a pretty big tree you got there. Would you believe me if I told you that I was Santa Claus?
You know, I might. Absolutely.